This is definitely the most authentic wilderness survival I have ever seen. Others live in the wilderness for at most 10 days and half a month. This man lived in the wild for half a year. He was struggling to build a wasteland. It became an outdoor paradise and challenged the whole city with only a knife. Let's see how he spent the past 6 months. Today is the first day of the King Wild Challenge. He first found a piece of Feng Shui treasure land. Clean the ground with a small knife. Then use the help of a branch to dig a few big holes on the ground. Dig into the hole and dig a hole for the house. Then build a house frame. The whole process is made by Wang Chun. All the materials used come from the earth. It's already dark when the house frame is built. The next day, Wang found a lot of Zhongyu leaves and a lot of bamboos in the early morning. Bamboos are used to reinforce the roof. It took another day to complete the roof construction. This construction progress is really slow, but it all looks so real. When the roof was laid the next day, the Zhongyu leaves found yesterday also had a bit of a bitter taste, but this does not affect the water resistance. Building a roof is a big project. You need to use a vine to tie the Zhongyu leaves to the roof frame. The whole process takes about a week. When the roof is built, the Zhongyu leaves on the top are completely bitter. Finally, Wang cut out all the protruding parts of the roof with a small knife and cut them into bangs. There are still a lot of bamboos left outside the house. Wang used a small knife to cut all the complete bamboos into bamboo strips and lay them on the roof frame. The roof of the house is done. By the way, the walls of the house are perfect, but the outer walls of bamboo are not very strong and waterproof. In order to be able to enter and exit the house, Wang built 2 wooden stairs at the exits of the house. But what a coincidence. It was a heavy rain. Wang's house was just built. How can he stand the rain? After the rain stopped, Wang took the risk of burning the whole house. He set a fire under the house. Let the room keep dry to prevent mold. While the weather is good recently, Wang built another house next to the house. Save food or raise small animals. It took a month. Wang finally built the house. Then he finally had time to look for food. The most real survival in the wilderness. In the case of a man who has been hungry for 3 days and 9 meals, he did not receive the lobster and crab sent by the prop group. The only food he could find was this tasteless Zhongyu heart. It's not that Wang's survival is not good. He just wanted to show the audience the most real process of survival in the wilderness. After eating Zhongyu heart, Wang accidentally found a fruit on the way home. He picked up a lot of fruit. No matter. 3,721. In fact, this fruit has no fruit, and it tastes sour. Locals usually use 7 fruits and brew wine. Wang, who needs to supplement calories, has another way. Only need to add mountain spring water to the bamboo tube, heat with fruit and put on the fire. And after a day and a night of fermentation, a unique bean soup successfully came out. Although it looks a bit like dark cuisine, but to survive, Wang did not choose. The next few days, Wang leisurely lives his little days. He made a few bamboo baskets at home. When he had time, he carried the bamboo basket to look for food outside. This time he went out, and he had an unexpected harvest. He found a strange vine. After observation, it was determined that this was a yam vine. So he went along with the melon, and dug out all 3 generations of the yam from the soil. This wild yam not only looks crystal clear and rich in nutrition, the taste is also very good. Because the shelter is too far from the water source, it takes a few minutes to wash a yam. This gives Wang a lot of trouble. In order to solve the water source problem, Wang dug a big hole outside the house. When preparing to build a reservoir, it took 3 days and 3 nights just to dig such a big hole. How can the water flow into the pit is another difficult thing. Wang first covered the top of the water pit with a layer of wood. Reduce the evaporation of water. Then find a long bamboo. Open the surface to ensure the water flow. Then Wang came to the upper stream of the stream. Put the bamboo tubes one by one together until the water is connected to the downstream. After finishing, the water volume is not very large. The whole reservoir is filled with water to the end of the year. Fortunately, it rained for several days in a row. The water level of the stream began to rise. The water flow of the bamboo tube is also much bigger. Take advantage of the time of water rise. Wang quickly grabbed the opportunity to make a few fish holes. He will go to the stream to do a big job. I have never seen such a powerful wild yam survival. Men challenged the tropical rainforest alone for half a year. During this time, not only did he create his own luxurious villa, he also planted plants around the villa. From then on, he lived a carefree life in the wild. Because it rained recently, the water level rose. Wang's fish house caught a lot of fish and shrimp. To ensure that there is enough food for a long time, he decided to raise some small fish in the pond. But what did the fish eat in this bare pond? At this time, Wang accidentally found an ant nest on the tree. Ants, this high-protein species, are the best food for fish. So he did not rest. He went to the pond to eat. He ate and ate and ate. The fish was so hungry that he did not rest. He packed the roots of the tree and took it back to the shelter and put it in the center of the pond. Even if there is a little wind blowing, grass, ants on the tree will be blown into the pond below. Even the time of artificial feeding is saved. Wang continued to dig up the land around the house. He can't afford to feed himself in the fish pond, so he needs his own vegetable garden. He provides food to himself all the time, but there are not many crops to grow in the rainforest. The most common of them is this kind of wood mouse, and this ant has a very high yield. A tree can produce 10 caddies of wood mouse. Wood mouse is easy to get stuck. It must be cooked and eaten. And wood mouse is different from sweet potatoes. The roots that can be eaten cannot sprout. If you want to grow this thing, you need to use its stem. Bury the cut wood mouse stem into the ground. A few months later, a new wood mouse can be grown. After that, Wang improved the fence in the yard, prevent second brother from causing trouble. The next day, Wang went out for a secret meal. This time, he accidentally found a wild taro. These taros are not ripe. I can only take it back and plant it. Now, Wang's vegetable garden finally appears. Now, he has more time to add some furniture to the house. Wang spent 3 days. Made a comfortable sugar chair with bamboo and taro. With this thing, Wang's life is suddenly full of style. This is the king of the wilderness. Other people take various tools with them. Men go directly back to the Yuan era. Use the most primitive methods to make pottery. You never thought of making pottery. It's a pile of white ants. Although it sounds a little incredible, but in the case of not finding the right clay, white ant nest is definitely a material that burns the best taro. Because its soil is delicate and contains white ant mucus, the produced taro is not easy to crack. Collected white ant nest, first crushed into powder with a wooden hammer, then add water and stir well. Filled in the container made of glue, then use Wang's delicate hands. Smooth the surface of the cup until the surface is wrapped. The finished pottery needs to be dried on the fire. It's convenient for subsequent burning. Because it's raining now, to build a furnace for burning taro, only the most primitive burning method. Throw the cup directly into the fire pile to burn, and stack a layer of firewood on top to increase the firepower. This way, although the burning is simple, but it's hard to control the firepower, the taro will be cracked by accident. Fortunately, this burning was a success. Except for the surface of the taro is a bit black. There is no crack. The texture is also quite crisp. With these treasures, now, Wang's boiling water is a lot more convenient, but drinking water is still a cup. Wang made a thermos cup with bamboo and want to live a good life. Life must be green. Then Wang picked some green fruits outside and some unknown wild vegetables, ready to replenish some green breath for the body. Back to the shelter, Wang wanted to catch crab in the pond. I didn't expect the fish I raised a few days ago to be dead, but the drinking water pipe. A crab came down from the stream. There is no way, dinner can only be saved. Make a pot of crab soup. The luckiest person in the wild. 6 corners in the rainforest. You can find a full of fruit tree, orange tree, and the fallen tree. You can pick fresh oranges without climbing trees. It's just a waste of money. There are also unknown fruits. You can pick it on the road. The flowers are all over the road. Wang forgot what his ex-girlfriend often said. Don't pick wild flowers on the road. He wanted to pick some flowers and go back to decorate, but accidentally found a wax gourd. So I followed the wax gourd all the way. I made him eat a meal of wax gourd. Then Wang continued to drive back. See the small stream on the side of the road? He still couldn't help but touch it in the hole. I have to say that Wang is really lucky. This time I got a small crab. Back to the shelter. Wang immediately started cooking for today's lunch. And the naughty atmosphere made yesterday worked. This is the first hot meal Wang ate in the rainforest. The memory is extraordinary. The next day, Wang clearly realized that if you want to survive in the rainforest for a long time, it's not going to work just by luck. Wang was hungry for a long time, so he made a trap with bamboo. Although this trap looks simple, but it's very powerful. It's no problem to catch a small second brother. Then he arranged traps everywhere in the rainforest and put a wooden mouse to make bait. After finishing, go home and wait for the big meal. Wang, who couldn't stand it, sorted out the garden. When the time was up, he immediately went to check the trap. The first trap didn't work, but the wooden mouse is almost gone. The mechanism is also triggered. It means there must be animal activity nearby. Wang was not disappointed this time. A small second brother successfully joined Wang's diet, and Wang's carefully operated garden also grew vegetables. Wang picked some and washed them with spring water with the roasted second brother. Although this meal looks very reasonable with the mixed food, but there is no seasoning. I don't know how Wang survived these days. In the absence of salt, other people are in the wilderness. But the man directly returned to the Yuan era. He uses the mud that can be seen everywhere in the wild to make various daily necessities for himself. This surface is smeared with a bowl of. He can only go up along the waterway. See if you can find a small pond. Wang's judgment is correct. He found a big pond at the top of the waterfall, and found many. The head looks like a couple. Wang and Wang are a couple. Because the tool is only a small knife, Wang spent a lot of effort. I barely caught a yellow fish, but Wang doesn't want to give up this rare opportunity. He continued to try patiently until all the fish in the pond were completely caught. He was satisfied. Wang decided to cook with the fire. How much is there to survive in the wild in the tropical rainforest? You can achieve fruit freedom in the wild without using props. You can even cut a bamboo and pick up the pomegranate fruit on the road. This place is very beautiful. Wang didn't take all the pomegranate fruit with him, because there is no shortage of fruit in the rainforest. On the way back, a fallen tree attracted Wang's attention. He seemed to smell the smell of pomelos. Unexpectedly, this tree is full of pomelos. Wang picked up a few ripe pomelos. Wang continued to catch up after finishing, because so far, he hasn't found meat yet. To ensure the balance of nutrition in the wild, he paid attention to the white ants in the trunk. But it seems that this time the luck is not very good. There are not only no white ants in it, I didn't even see a bug, and the pomegranate tree next to it, but it surprised Wang. Not only that, he also found some taro on the ground. Unfortunately, this one planted a lot in the garden. Wang is not interested in this. Rather than using this kind of mature pomegranate on the ground, it's better to pick the fresh ones on the tree. On the way back, Wang used it again. Found another unknown fruit. Since you saw it, pick it back. So far, there are all kinds of fruits in his backpack. Wang is very proud. The fruit collected today is all over the table. This unknown fruit is hard. When eating, you need to roast it. Then take out the seeds inside. Although the dinner is full of fruit, but compared to the hungry stomach, this is much happier. The next day, Wang continued to look for food in the wild. Whether he can eat meat today, it depends on his luck. But he was busy all morning. In addition to finding some beautiful wild flowers, he still found fruit. First, he picked up a ripe banana tree next to the pomegranate tree. Then he found another popular fruit. The fruit is growing high. Wang used bamboo sticks to break the old mirror, so he picked one up. The annoying thing is that on the way back, he accidentally picked up 3 or 4 on the roadside. Today he collected a full bag of fruit. On the way back, he found some wild tea fruit. Wang didn't even take a look. The fruit has not been supplemented with enough protein. It's easy to cause malnutrition. Maybe because it's New Year's Eve. Animals are rushing home for New Year's Eve dinner. This small king has been running the vegetable garden for several months. The second brother has never paid attention to the fruit. He went to check it every day, but there was nothing in it. He can only hope for a small stream. Wang has not made a decent fishing tool yet. He can only catch a few crabs in the stream. Touch a few. Men are at risk of life. He climbed a tree dozens of meters high without any protective measures. He did this just to pick up this giant beehive. It's rare for a beehive to grow so big. I thought Wang wouldn't have to starve for the next few days. As a result, there is no honey in the beehive. This adventure has not been successful. It's like an ordinary person has collapsed. But Wang is not surprised, because a few days ago he collected a lot of dried fruit and flower tea. Since there is no honey to enjoy, then make yourself a pot of good tea. With your own taro, simply arrange for yourself afternoon tea. Wang looks at this beehive very sad. I still didn't think of the use of this thing. After all, it is something that I exchanged for my life. It's a pity to throw it away. So I just hung it on the roof of the beehive. Now is the summer of the rainforest. The vegetables planted by Wang are growing. However, the hot climate makes Wang unable to sleep all night. So he needs to make himself a taro. It's better to sleep at night. He first found a giant. Then cut the taro leaves in half. After cutting, you can get a beautiful 2-step in half an hour. Now, Wang is more comfortable sleeping at night. The next day, Wang got up early. Come to the rainforest to find food. This time, he accidentally found a local special fruit. This fruit grows at the root of the plant. The taste is spicy and bitter, but can treat diseases such as diarrhea. Do you know what fruit this is? Although this thing cannot be considered food. But why not make it into a medicinal herb? Not to mention getting sick in this rainforest. It takes several days to call for help. Wang is definitely the luckiest man in the wild. Dig a mountain in the rainforest. Can find a wounded wild chicken. The feathers of this wild chicken scattered. Should have been attacked by some large animal. After Wang's inspection, this guy is a very common animal in the rainforest, not protecting the animal hunt. Back to the shelter. In the case of ordinary people, this chicken has been stewed in a pot for a long time. But Wang is embarrassed by the beautiful feathers on his left and right. Because recently, Wang has a problem with food shortage. The mountain herbs he saved, it is being consumed at a speed that is visible to the naked eye. It can only be mixed with some roots of starch, mixed in bamboo tubes, stewed with yams. Although life is so difficult, but the sense of ritual has always existed in Wang's life. There must be enough tea every afternoon, only a few with afternoon tea. After a careful consideration, Wang decided to raise the wild chicken for storage. He came to the jungle. Collect various building machines. The bamboo that can be seen everywhere is light. It is easy to transport. It's not suitable to build a chicken house. The chicken house is still loose. This time, it still couldn't escape Wang's claws. Wang picked up some and brought them back. Maybe it will be useful later. Back to the shelter. Wang cut the bamboo into bamboo strips, formed a ventilated bamboo net, and 3 relatively closed bamboo walls. Then he placed the chicken house in the stairwell. The inside and both sides are installed with closed bamboo walls. The exit is installed with bamboo nets. The benefits of doing this are beneficial to the return of the smell. After finishing, put the bamboo head of the wild chicken to drink water. The construction of the chicken house is finished. When Bai and Day are still hungry in the wild, this man has already eaten delicious grilled fish, and he can't finish eating the fish he caught. Even feed the dog. Unconsciously, Wang has lived in the rainforest for more than half a year. His long hair is the best proof. I said goodbye to the previous shelter. Wang started the journey of the jungle again. This time, to solve the problem of not having a girlfriend, I also brought my own dog to take risks with him. Maybe the director is not delicate enough. I didn't arrange a wild girlfriend for Wang. He set off along the west side. The quiet stream seems to hide the invisible danger. Dangerous poisonous insects and poisonous snakes lurk in this water, so he has to constantly observe the surrounding situation. The deep stream is not lack of water, and the construction of a shelter for Wang. For this kind of wild driver, it's a matter of minutes. So the problem of solving food is the low drug. So he started to make fish holes with bamboo. Ready to catch fish again. After half a year of survival in the rainforest, Wang's craft has made significant progress. He cut a whole bamboo into an umbrella, then started to use bamboo strips to weave bamboo. Just such a bamboo. Wang made a fish hole. He put the fish hole in the outlet of the stream, and used stones to hold it down to prevent it from being washed away by the water. Then Wang swam along the waterway. He found a relatively high area of land. Start to build a shelter. He first made a bamboo bed with a few bamboos, then build a good house frame. Finally, put the glue on the bottom. A simple shelter was finished by Wang. Now, Wang can finally go to check the traps. This time, the harvest let Wang wash out. The fish house is full of big, small, and all kinds of fish. In order to be easy to carry, Wang put all these fish in bamboo strips. On the way back, don't forget to pick some fresh fruits in the rainforest to ensure that the dinner is balanced with nutrition. Back to the shelter, he put all the fish he caught today in a fire. It took a whole day. These two brothers are also hungry. Start to eat big. In no time, the light plate action is completed. It can be seen how delicious this grilled fish is. Thanks for watching.